Imagine being able to put your hand through the screen, grab your audience, and pull them through the screen with you and put them in the heart of the action in your story. That is the power of 360 video. And today I'm going to share with you how to make a 360 video for YouTube. And the best part is anyone can learn 360, including you. So let's get started. Hey, I'm Shanil and I essentially help people and businesses learn how to use 360 cameras creatively. And I also have my own brand of 360 camera accessories. I love 360 video because when you use a VR headset to watch 360 video, it feels like a place you are at rather than something you are watching. It feels real. This video is split into 6 parts. So in part 1, I will share with you an introduction to 360 video. In part 2, I will share with you some ideas and inspiration for different styles of 360 video you can create. In part 3, I will share with you which film equipment I recommend to film 360 video with. In part 4, I will share with you the best practices on how to film 360 video. In part 5, I will share with you how to edit 360 video in Premiere Pro in the fastest way possible. And in part 6, I will share with you the best practices on how to upload your 360 video onto YouTube. The best way to watch a movie for the most immersive experience is to go to the cinema, watch it on the big screen. And the best way to watch 360 video is to use a VR headset and headphones, and then you'll have the screen all around you. But these days, due to the pandemic, cinemas are closed. So now people are watching movies at home on their TV, laptop, or phone screen. These tiny little screens compared to a cinema screen. But with a VR headset, you can still experience the full immersion of 360 video even at home. Google Cardboard is the cheapest VR headset on the market and it costs $14.99. To use it, just go on YouTube on your phone and type 360 video. Tap a 360 video, and when you tap on the video, you will see a VR headset icon. Tap it and it will go into the VR headset view. Then line up your phone and the VR headset to make sure the phone is in the middle and close it up. And then when you look through the VR headset, tap the button on top so you can see the options, press play, and then look around and you can watch 360 video. The Oculus Quest 2 is one of the more expensive VR headsets. It costs £300. It has its own screen, so you don't need to put your mobile phone inside it. Then you just go on YouTube and watch 360 video. We need to make some assumptions about how people watch 360 video so we can make the best possible experience for our audience. So for example, if you are in the cinema, you will sit down on a comfortable chair, you will be eating popcorn, having a soft drink, and then looking forward at the big rectangle screen in front of you, and the sound will surround you. If you're watching a movie at home, then you'll be sitting comfortably on your couch, having your popcorn and your soft drink, looking forward at the rectangle screen, and the sound may surround you, depending on whether you have a surround system or not. And at home, if you are watching a movie on your laptop, tablet, or phone, then you might be tucked away in bed with a drink beside you, looking forward at the screen, and you might have the sound coming from the hardware speakers, Bluetooth speakers, AirPods, or headphones. So basically, we like to feel comfortable and relaxed when we watch movies or videos in the cinema or at home. Ideally, when you watch 360 video using a VR headset, you'll be sitting down on a swivel chair so that you can turn around the swivel chair to look all around the 360 video. But not everyone has a swivel chair at home. So some people are going to stand and some people are going to watch 360 video like a normal video. They're going to sit down on a normal chair or their couch or on their bed. And if they are sitting down, then it's going to be really hard for them to look behind the 360 video. So now that we know how people may experience 360 video at home, we can now make a set of filmmaking rules to make sure our audience gets the best experience possible, and we'll go through those rules later on in this video. Here are the top 3 storytelling techniques you should consider for your 360 video. Number 1, an in-person guide. So imagine when you go on holiday and you go on a tour. So you're going to have a guide, and the guide is going to take you to interesting places, and they're going to point at A, B, and C and tell you interesting stories about those points. Imagine in 360 video that you are the guide and you are taking your audience to interesting places. You're going to point at A, B, and C and tell your audience interesting stories. Number 2, the voice guided tour. So imagine you are at the museum and you are going to do an audio guided tour. So you wear the headphones and then you go to point A, B, and C, and then the voice through the headphones is going to tell you stories about the points you are at. Now imagine in 360 video that you are the voice through the headphones, so you take your audience to point A, B, and C and tell them stories about those points. And number 3, first person view. So imagine putting your audience in your character's shoes so they can see the character's point of view. So in 360 video, the other characters in your story will look directly into the lens of the 360 camera, and by doing this, your audience wearing the VR headset are going to see the characters looking directly at them. So your audience will feel present in the story. Now let's talk 360 cameras. So in this video, I'll be using the Insta360 One X2 because it is a pocket-sized 360 camera. In terms of video quality, it can shoot 5.7K 360 video at 30 frames per second. In terms of sound quality, the internal sound does not sound very good, and there is an external mic adapter where you can plug in an external microphone with a 3.5mm jack, but the external microphones through the adapter in the One X2 does not sound very good, so hopefully this will be fixed in the future with a firmware update. So if you do want good sound with the One X2, you will need to record sound externally and then sync it in post. In terms of workflow, any Insta360 camera has the fastest 360 workflow in the industry. The second 360 camera which I recommend is the QCam 8K. It's a little bit bigger than the One X2, but it's still a pocket-sized-ish 360 camera. In terms of video quality, it can shoot 8K 360 video at 30 frames per second, which looks pretty good. In terms of sound quality, the internal mics do not sound very good at all, but there is a 3.5mm jack on the sides where you can plug in an external microphone, and this sounds really good. So there's no need to record sound externally and sync it in post. You can just do it all within the camera itself, which will save you a lot of time. In terms of workflow though, it's slower. Editing 8K footage is really slow. There's an extra step in editing that you need to do before you import your footage into Premiere Pro, and that's called stitching. And stitching 8K 360 footage can take a lot of time depending on your computer specs. With the Insta360 One X2, if you install the Insta360 plugin for Premiere Pro, then you just need to drag and drop your Insta360 files directly into Premiere Pro and start editing your 360 video. So you skip the stitching step altogether, and that's what makes the Insta360 workflow so fast. A word of warning if you do decide to go down the QCam 8K route. The QCam 8K is not as reliable as the One X2. There are many things that can go wrong with this camera. So if you do decide to buy the QCam 8K, buy it locally. So if you're based in Europe, buy it from a local distributor in Europe. So if something does go wrong, you can return it locally. Don't buy it directly from the manufacturer, which I think is based in China or Hong Kong, because if you need to send it back, it's a very long and complicated process. So just bear that in mind. There is one big mistake that every new 360 camera owner makes, and I made this mistake when I was starting out as well. Whatever you do, do not use a light camera stand with your 360 camera outdoors, because it will get blown over by the wind. You will damage one of your lenses, and it will cost hundreds of pounds to repair because these lenses are not replaceable. or you have to buy a brand new 360 camera altogether. So to solve this problem, I decided to make a sturdy camera stand called the Best 360 Monopod, and it comes in 3 parts so it can fit in a small bag. So you have the tripod legs, the 500-gram counterweight, and the 150cm aluminium alloy selfie stick. So to assemble it together, I'll open up the legs and put it flat, then screw on the 500-gram counterweight, which will keep the monopod planted on the ground, and then I'll attach the selfie stick on the counterweight, and then I'll put the 360 camera on top of the selfie stick and extend the selfie stick to my desired height, and this will reduce the chance of your 360 camera getting blown over by the wind outdoors. So now I'm going to show you an example of how to rig a wireless microphone system to the QCam 8K, and in this example I'm going to use the Saramonic Blink 500 Pro B2, but you can use whatever you want. So first of all, I'm going to start off with this clip, which is going to wrap around the selfie stick, and this will provide you with a 1/4" 20 mount sticking out the selfie stick. So I'm going to wrap this around and secure it into place. So now we have a 1/4" 20 mount over here. Then I'm going to use this cold shoe adapter, which has a 1/4" 20 female, and I'm going to screw it into this 1/4" 20 thread. And now I have access to a cold shoe mount. So now I can get the Saramonic receiver and clip it into the cold shoe. Here I have a 3.5mm male to 3.5mm male aux cable. I'm going to plug in one end into the QCam 8K, and then I'm going to wrap the cable around the selfie stick. And the reason I'm wrapping it around the selfie stick is so that it doesn't appear as much in the nadir. And the nadir is the bottom of the 360 video. So later in post, I'll show you how to cover all this up so you can't see it. And once I reach the microphone receiver, I'm going to plug it into line out. And here I have 2 transmitters, so 2 microphones, so you can mic up 2 actors in your 360 video, and the sound will go into the receiver. The receiver will record one mic into the left channel and the second mic into the right channel, so you can edit them separately, and it's going into the QCam 8K, so the video and audio is synced automatically, so there's less for you to do in post. The wireless microphone setup with the One X2 is pretty similar, with the only difference being you need to buy the One X2 mic adapter separately and then attach the aux cable into the adapter and attach the adapter into the One X2. Now let's go through some best practices when filming 360 video. To record 360 video with the highest quality possible, tap on the screen, drag down from the top of the screen and go to Settings. Scroll down to Video Encoding and open it. Tap 360 mode and make sure H.265 is selected. Then go back. Then tap Video Mode, Standard Video Mode. Tap the resolution and frame rate. Make sure 5.7K 30 frames per second is selected. Then tap the tick to confirm. Then swipe left from the right of the screen. Go down to Color Profiles and make sure Vivid is selected. The area in between the lenses is called a stitch line. This is where the front and back lens video is stitched together to create a single 360 video. Make sure to keep your subject or action in front of the lens and not to the side of the camera to prevent your audience from seeing obvious stitching errors. If someone is talking to you really close, then that can feel really intimidating. So usually when we talk to someone, they're about one step away from us. And this concept applies in 360 video as well. So make sure that your subject or action is taking place one step away from the camera, and this will make sure that your audience is close enough to see the action, but they also have their own personal space. Previously, we talked about how we like to watch movies and videos at home, feeling comfortable and relaxed. And now I'm going to make some assumptions about our audience and how they watch 360 video. I will assume that they will watch 360 video with a VR headset, sitting down on a chair, couch, or sitting down on the bed, which means they cannot look behind themselves because that's uncomfortable. And with those assumptions in mind, I will introduce the 180-degree rule. And the 180-degree rule is that all of your main action will happen within a 180-degree field of view of your audience, so they can look to the left, to the right, up and down, but they will not forcefully look beyond their shoulder because there will be no action beyond 180 degrees. It will all happen within the 180-degree field of view. Some people do get nausea when they watch 360 video, and this is because the camera is shaking or moving too much. So to avoid this, it's best to keep the 360 camera still. But if you do want some motion in your 360 video, then you need to rig the 360 camera in such a way that it will keep the motion smooth and not jarring. If your audience has a fear of speed, darkness, claustrophobia, or height, then those fears can feel real in 360 video. So for example, if you place the 360 camera on the edge of a cliff, that can cause some distress to your audience. So your camera placement and lighting is really important so you don't cause unintentional distress. The height of the 360 camera will affect your audience's point of view. So if you mount your 360 camera really low, it might look like a child's point of view. But if you mount the 360 camera at an average adult height, then it will look like an adult's point of view. Because of the pandemic, I have not been able to go out and travel and shoot demo footage for this particular video. So instead, I'll be using some 360 footage which I shot in the past to show you the fundamentals of how to edit 360 video. When you plug in your Insta360 camera into the computer, this is what you will see. So to see your Insta360 footage, double-click DCIM, camera 01, and here are all your Insta360 files. Somewhere on your computer, create a project folder, and in this case I named it 360 Video Demo. Open it, then make a new folder called Footage, and in your Footage folder, copy the files from your camera folder into your Footage folder. There's some things you need to know about your Insta360 footage. Whatever you do, do not rename these files because Insta360 Studio will read these file names and know which files go together. This is because when you record 5.7K 360 video, there are 2 files per 360 video. One is for the front lens and one is for the back lens. Next, you need to make sure that you have the latest version of Premiere Pro installed, and then you need to go to insta360.com/download, click Insta360 1x2, scroll down to Insta360 Studio 2021, and then depending on whether you have Windows or Mac, click Download and install Insta360 Studio. And when you install it, it will install a plugin for Premiere Pro, which will allow you to drag and drop your INSV files directly into Premiere Pro. Next, I'm going to create a brand new Premiere Pro project for my 360 video. So to do this, click New Project, and I'll just name it 360 Video Project. And I'm going to save it in my project folder. Select this folder and click OK. And now you have a new project. To import your Insta360 footage into Premiere Pro, go to your footage folder, and the best way to import this footage is to select one file per 360 video. If you were to select both files per 360 video, it will import the same video twice. So I'm just going to select all the 00 versions of the files and drag and drop it into Premiere Pro, and your footage will be imported. Because we are dealing with really large file sizes, which are 5.7K in resolution, it's a good idea to create proxies so you have a smooth editing experience. So to do this, I'm going to go to the footage folder and create a new folder called proxies. Then back in Premiere Pro, I'm going to highlight these clips, right click, go to proxy, create proxies. I'm going to change the format to QuickTime and the preset to VR monoscopic. I'm going to go to browse, then find my project folder, click footage, and then the proxies folder. Select this folder and click OK. This will open up Media Encoder automatically and create the proxy files for you. Proxy files are just a smaller version of your larger files. So when editing, it will use the smaller files for a smoother editing experience. And then when you export your video, it will use the larger files instead, so you get the full resolution. Just in case the layout of your Premiere Pro is different to mine, go to Window, Workspaces, and select Editing, and then it should look the same as mine. Next, you need to add some button shortcuts. So to do this, click the plus button over here. Look for the Toggle VR Video Display button, and this will allow you to look around your 360 video. So just drag this button over here, and then look for the Toggle Proxies button, and this will allow you to work with your low resolution footage, your proxy footage, so that you have a smooth editing experience. So just drag this over here and click OK. The next step is to create a new sequence so you can edit your 360 video clips together. So the easiest way to do this is to double click your first 360 video clip. So it'll appear over here and you can preview it. And I'm going to hit I on the keyboard where I want this clip to begin. And then hit O on the keyboard where I want it to end. And then I'm going to drag this video here to create a new sequence based on this video settings. So if I click the sequence, then go to Sequence, Sequence Settings. Here you can see Premiere Pro created a new project, which is at 29.97 frames per second. And the frame size is a 5.7K 360 video. And Premiere Pro has recognized it as a 360 video. Just rename your sequence to your project name so you know that this file is your sequence. So I'll name it to 360 video project. So let's take a look at this 360 video clip. So find your Toggle VR Video Display button and click it, and you will see it change to this window. Right click this window and go to VR Video Settings, change the horizontal to 160 and the vertical to 90 and click OK. And this will give you a much larger preview window. So now you can drag your mouse and look around the 360 video and also enable toggle proxies. So when you do play back your 360 video clip, it will play back very smoothly and you'll have a nice editing experience. Let's say you want to change the center point of your 360 video. The first thing you need to do is change these values to 0, because when these values are 0, this is the actual center point of your 360 video. So to change the center point, go to Effects, type VR, grab the VR Rotate Sphere effect and drag it onto your footage. Go to Effect Controls, and under VR Rotate Sphere, you can drag the pan left or right and change the center point. So I'll change the center point to this bench with the couple on it. If you want to, you can change the tilt up and down or the roll. And this is useful if the horizon of your 360 video is bent, but Insta360 cameras usually get this straight automatically anyway. Let's say you want to add text all around your 360 video. So this video is taken in Bushy Park. So I want to add the text Bushy Park to the north, east, south, and west of my footage. So to do this, I'm going to click off VR video display. So now I can see my entire 360 footage. Then click the type tool and drag a text box and type Bushy Park. And then I'll make this box smaller. I'm going to center align the text and move the text to the center of the 360 video. If I just toggle VR video on, you can see that the text is now in the video. And you can edit how your text looks by changing the font, the stroke, the color, shadow, and more. But right now, the text is slightly distorted in the 360 view. And any 2D object you add into a 360 video needs to be converted to look right in a 360 video. So to do this, type VR in the effects column, find the VR plane to sphere effect and drag it onto your footage. You can see that the text has gone smaller. So under the VR plane to sphere effect, under scale, change the scale to 100%. And now the size of the text is what it was before, and the text is not distorted. I'll drag this text to fill the entire clip. So now we have our first text in the 360 video. When your audience wears a VR headset, they will see the text bigger than what you actually see over here. So you will need to do some trial and error with different text sizes to see which one you prefer. Now let's add the Bushy Park text to the east of the 360 video. So to do this, I'm going to copy the Bushy Park text by pressing Ctrl C on the keyboard. And to paste this text over here, you need to deselect V1 over here and select this track instead. Drag the marker to the start of this clip and press Ctrl V, and the text will paste in place. Press V to go back to the cursor icon and just click over here. Then go to Effect Controls, VR Plane to Sphere, Rotate Projection, and change the pan to 90 degrees. And now you have the Bushy Park text in the east of your 360 video. So if I just toggle VR video display and drag to the right, you'll see the Bushy Park text over here. Now let's add the Bushy Park text to the south of the 360 video. So to do this, I'm going to add a new track. So I'm going to right click, click Add Track. I'm going to copy this Bushy Park text, pressing Ctrl C on the keyboard, deselect V3 over here, and select V4 instead. Bring the marker to the start of the clip, and press Ctrl V. And with this text selected, go to Effect Controls, VR Plane to Sphere, Rotate Projection, and change the projection pan to 180 degrees. And you now have the Bushy Park text in the south of your 360 video. So if I click VR video display and we look behind the 360 video, you'll see the Bushy Park text over here. And finally, let's add the Bushy Park text to the west side of the 360 video. So I'll add a track, copy the Bushy Park text, select this track instead, bring the marker to the start, and press Ctrl V. Select this text, go to Effect Controls, VR Plane to Sphere, Rotate Projection, and change the projection pan to 270 degrees. And now you have the bushy park text all around your 360 video, to the north, east, south, and west. Let's say you want to add a nadia logo at the bottom of your 360 video to cover up the tripod legs. To do this, go to Essential Graphics, Edit, and click New. From File, click your nadia logo and click Open. And just like I said before, when you import anything 2D into a 360 video, you need to convert it to look undistorted in a 360 video. So to do this, go to Effects, type VR, and grab the VR plane to sphere effect and drag it onto your nadia logo. And you can see it zoomed out. Then under Rotate Projection, change the tilt to 90 degrees. And now if you look down at the nadia logo, you'll see the logo is covering up the tripod legs. And to make it completely cover up the tripod legs, just change the scale to 100. And now your tripod legs is covered with your logo. And I'm just going to drag this to cover up the entirety of the clip. And this is what it looks like as an equirectangular projection. Now, if you need the option to turn on direction lock, or you are using your Insta360 camera in a case, then what you need to do is click on your footage, right click it, and reveal in project. Then right click your footage, click source settings, and here you can choose whether you had lens guards when filming your video. If your stitching isn't looking very good, you can turn on dynamic stitching to see if it makes an improvement. And flow state stabilization, I recommend you leave it on all the time because this will make your footage smooth. And lock direction will choose the center point of your 360 video, and then you just click confirm. Once you have finished editing your immersive story, the last step is to export your video in the highest video quality possible. So to do this, click your sequence, go to File, Export, Media, select the format H.264, select the preset VR Monoscopic Match Source Stereo Audio, click the output name to save your video to your project folder and click Save. Click Match Source, and this will make sure that your sequence settings matches your export settings. So here you can see the output is a 5.7K 360 video at 29.97 frames per second. Scroll down to the bitrate encoding and change this to VBR2 pass. And since this is a 5.7K 360 video, change the target bitrate to 120. And this will ensure you get the highest video quality possible for your 5.7K 360 video. And then click Export. Once your video has finished exporting, it will be ready to upload onto YouTube. When your 360 video has finished exporting from Premiere Pro, then you'll get a video which looks like this. This is an equirectangular view of your 360 video, and it's basically a flat representation of something spherical, just like how the world map is a flat representation of Earth. To upload your 360 video onto YouTube, you just upload it like any other video, and Premiere Pro has already injected the 360 metadata into the file, so YouTube will automatically know it's a 360 video. Now, once it's finished uploading, it will begin processing, and once it's finished processing, there'll be a standard definition version of your 360 video available. And if you wait up to 24 hours, it does take a little bit of time, you will eventually see your high quality 5.7K version of your 360 video. I highly recommend that you add the keywords 360 video in your video title. So if someone is looking for a 360 video on YouTube, then your video will come up. In the video thumbnail, I also recommend that you add the keywords 360 video. So when people are browsing for your 360 video, they'll be able to find it more easily. And also in the video description, add the keywords 360 video to improve your YouTube SEO. That's it. Now you know how to tell immersive stories using your 360 camera. And if you need help on your 360 filmmaking adventure, then be sure to join Best 360 Club on Facebook. We are a community of 360 creators just helping each other make the most out of our 360 cameras. You can ask questions, post your videos, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. Well, thank you for watching this video and stay safe. Hey everyone, thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned something new. And if you have any questions after watching that video, there is a Ask Your Questions Here button on this page. Just type your question there and send it across and I'll answer it right now. I have about 4 minutes to answer your questions. So if you have anything on your mind, make sure to put it in that box and I'll answer it right away. So starting off, first question from Steph. Do you have a suggestion on which VR headsets are best for viewing 360-degree videos on? So to answer that question, you would have saw 2 VR headsets in my video. One which is the Google Cardboard, which is the cheapest option available. And I think the one which will be more relevant to you is the Oculus Quest 2, because this will allow you to watch videos using an app with your friends so that everyone who's using an Oculus Quest 2 can watch the same video at the same time. So it's definitely worth checking out the Oculus Quest 2, and there'll be a number of apps which will allow you to have this kind of party mode where lots of people can be in the same room watching the same video at the same time. The second question is from Jennifer. And the question is 360 One R or the 360 One X2, which one is the best? If we're specifically talking about 360-degree video, then my favorite 360 camera is the One X2 because it has a more seamless stitch line than the One R, because the body of the One X2 is a really thin camera, as you can see here. I did also mention the QCam 8K, but the workflow is very difficult. But if you want something that's very small and compact, and with future firmware updates, I know that they're going to make the audio sound better, the video quality sound better, and because it has the Premiere Pro integration, and they're going to make it work with Final Cut as well, I would definitely go for the One X2. It's got a very nice design, it's very easy to use. The One R is modular, but if you want simplicity and something that can do everything in a single body, definitely One X2 is my favorite. And that leads on to the third question by Stephen, who's thinking of getting a One X2 for creative photos. Photo quality out of it any good? Well, I would say that the photo quality of the One X2 is good for social media. So if you're looking to post photos on Instagram or Facebook, then the quality of this is more than good enough. You can shoot raw photos as well. They've also got a new mode called Pure Shot, which is an computational photography version of RAW, and it will give you much nicer results, less noise when you take photos at night. And because the app allows you so many things, I think the One X2 is going to give you the most creative control when taking photos or videos. So I definitely think the One X2 is a really good option. And again, it's just so small and portable, and it allows you to make so many different kinds of shots. If you watch my latest YouTube video on youtube.com/best360, I show you 5 creative shots you can do with the 1x2. And although those are video shots, you can also turn them into photos as well. So there's lots you can do with it. There's lots of manual control. So if you want to be creative, I would definitely choose the 1x2. Let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, so I got a new question from Alan. How does the Ricoh Theta Z1 compare with the 360 cameras you just mentioned? So the Ricoh Z1 is a photo camera. It is not a video camera. So avoid the Z1 at all costs for video. I've got about a minute left, so I'm going to go through as many questions as I can. So a question by Kate, when you make a logo to hide the tripod, is it best to have a round logo specific for 360 videos? You can have any shape you want, but the most common shape used is a circle. By Julian, I have a Samsung Gear 360. Is that still going to work with modern apps and YouTube? That's a really good question. I used to have the Gear 360 until I broke it. I cannot remember what the output file of a Gear 360 is. I think it's an MP4. And if it is an MP4, then yes, you can edit MP4 files, 360 files in Premiere Pro, Final Cut, Power Director, Sony Vegas, or any other editor that can edit 360 videos. If you do have any more questions, then feel free to email me at shanil@best360.tv. And if you want to learn more about 360 cameras, definitely visit youtube.com/best360. Got about 15 seconds to go, so definitely check those two out and have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you and goodbye.